In this video, we will be analyzing a goal from the Manchester United game versus Liverpool at Old Trafford. This goal was part of a dominant Liverpool performance that had everyone calling for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer to be sacked. The goal was also a part of a poor Manchester United defensive display that had pundits talking about the manner of the defeat more than the defeat itself. And if you watch till the end, you will understand why Manchester United changed their formation to a 5-3-2 with wing-backs for the next game against Tottenham. So let's start with the build-up toward the goal. As you can see here, as part of the high press, Greenwood approaches the man on the ball to press. Bruno Fernandes is centrally located and is returning after he has just put pressure on Hugo Lloris, who had the ball just before that. Also noticeable is Ronaldo and Rashford, and you can see that the front four here overall are purely imbalanced, mainly because Rashford is too deep and Ronaldo is too wide. Another important thing to note is that Keita is actually being marked by Rashford at this point. And the other thing to notice here is that Wan-Bissaka is going to put forward pressure, anticipating the pass to Robertson. So the black arrow shows Wan-Bissaka's thought process and where he's going to actually put pressure, because he sees the ball that will be passed to Robertson. And this is part of a good tactic used by Solskjaer, where he wants to constitute a high press, even if it means that his defenders are sometimes out of position. Now the issue is, if your defenders are out of positions, your midfielders need to compensate for it with the appropriate cover and balance. So as the ball is played to Robertson, you can see that Greenwood actually does manage to put pressure sideways, and so does Wan-Bissaka. At the same time, if you look in the middle of the pitch, Rashford has actually lost Keita. Keita has moved further inward and now is in a very attacking position should he receive the ball. Another thing to note here is that Fred is too far forward. He needs to be a lot more deeper, given he's one of the holding midfielders of the Manchester United team. He's completely out of position when the ball is played to Robertson. The other thing to note here is that as Robertson is about to play the ball, you can see the acres of space that two players have in the Liverpool team. You can also see Solskjaer signaling to the Manchester United defenders to shift towards the right to put more pressure and to make sure that they don't have as much space. Now the ball is played forward from Robertson to Jota, and at this time Manchester United are caught, simply because Liverpool passed the ball forward so quickly and Manchester United are equally slow to respond. So there's a multitude of things that have gone wrong here for Manchester United. Number one is the defenders are shifting towards the right. You can see Maguire shifting towards the right, so is Luke Shaw. But at the same time, the midfielders are not covering any of the dangerous positions centrally. One of the biggest issues here is that Keita is in front already of Fred and McTominay, and Rashford doesn't seem to be compensating for them being out of position. Now, important to note, Rashford actually started this entire phase of play pretty deep, and if he did start deep, he could have compensated a lot better for some of the midfielders being out of position. As we go forward, we can see that Jota has many open passing angles into dangerous central positions. And the inevitable happens. Because Fred and McTominay are out of position, Jota actually plays a first time ball into the central midfielder. In this case, it's Firmino, who's dropped a bit deep. McTominay is already out of position. He tries to track back. And you can also see that the defenders continue to shift, but there's no cover from midfield, namely Fred and Rashford in this case. Another thing to note is that Maguire's pressing angle is absolutely wrong here. He goes too far to the right, giving Firmino a clear passing option centrally to Mo Salah. This absolutely cannot happen. Maguire should have been way further to the left to make sure that those central passing angles are covered, and he's approaching the pressure from the right angle. And now there's acres of space for the Liverpool front three to actually attack. Firmino has multiple options to pass, and Fred and Rashford are out of position as well. Firmino could have actually passed centrally to Keita, and then Keita could have actually opened up the right flank for Alexander-Arnold. But Firmino chose to play the ball to Mo Salah, which created a direct 2v1 situation with Luke Shaw caught against two attackers. If you look closely, because Man United are so slow to react to the play, this could be actually described as a 4v1, where Alexander-Arnold and Robertson have continued their runs and are already ahead of the Man United defense. Salah makes the easy pass to Keita, and then Keita ends up finishing for the goal. But this just shows how quick Liverpool were in playing out of the back and how equally slow Manchester United were to react. So some key points to remember here is that high press doesn't really work without the appropriate cover and balance. Your midfielders and all of your players actually have to compensate for other folks being out of position. Because you constantly want to keep pressure on the ball, sometimes players get out of position and you have to compensate. And this is called dynamic defending, right? With the right pressure, cover and balance. The other point to remember is that as defenders shift to press, the midfielders need to cover the positions and the passing angles. And the third point is the passing angles themselves. They always need to be protected. And the most dangerous ones here are the central passing lanes, which in this case Manchester United did not actually protect. So I think this sums up Manchester United's night. This actual first goal that came in the 5th minute of the game actually shows you how poor Manchester United really were defensively. It wasn't one or two folks that actually made positional mistakes. It was actually so many different things going wrong at the same time that Liverpool really took advantage of it, and this shows why folks kept saying that the actual manner of the defeat was quite abysmal, right? Because nobody expected so many things to go wrong at the same time with Manchester United. So I hope you liked the video, and I hope you understand that Manchester United should have really defended with a high press, but with also the appropriate cover and balance. And against teams like Liverpool that play so fast and so quick out of the back, and they have runners on and off the ball all the time, you really need to make sure that the central passing lanes are covered and your reaction time is very, very quick.